I'm Kedra Kelmaha, and this is my informative speech on HIV and AIDS in India, and this is my audience. What does it mean to have AIDS? Is tuberculosis contagious? These are common questions amongst young people, like ourselves, who rarely, if ever, come into contact with such diseases. Most of us have lived sheltered lives until now, unaware of the health problems many other countries like India face. I have a passion for healthcare and plan to practice in India once I finish school. I am here to help you tear down these walls by talking to you about two major diseases that plague India: HIV/AIDS and tuberculosis, both separately and in combination with one another. Let us start with the most familiar topic to us: HIV/AIDS. Only 14 years ago, India was HIV and AIDS free. Then, in 1986, in the southern state of Tamil Nadu, the first cases of HIV surfaced. Sexual intercourse between foreigners and Indian sex workers sparked this epidemic, and contaminated needles only worsened the problem. An international charity called Avert on avert.org, accessed on March 15th, called Overview of HIV and AIDS in India, reveals that tens of thousands of people were living with HIV and AIDS in 1990, and by the turn of the century, that number had risen to millions. Now, according to the Avert webpage, UNAIDS believes that India is home to 250,000 HIV-positive people, making it the third largest population in the world. Even though there is no HIV type, research shows that people who are migrant or sex workers, homosexual men, and truck drivers are the most commonly affected. Currently, the World Health Organization, also known as the WHO, which is the United Nations leader and the World Health Director, said in the 2009 Kaiser Family Foundation fact sheet, which is a U.S. private nonprofit foundation, that roughly 2% of all of India's deaths are due to HIV/AIDS. And if current trends continue, by 2033, HIV/AIDS could account for 17% of all deaths. As found in the same previously stated Avert webpage, India has put $2.6 billion into the disease's prevention and treatment, including over 11,000 condom vending machines. The government has also tried to stop the disease by educating the population. The next disease on India's list to put a halt to is tuberculosis, more commonly TB. It is much harder than most diseases to contain because a person can be contagious and yet show no symptoms themselves. In an article titled "Journey of Tuberculosis Control Movement in India," found in the 8th issue of the Indian Journal of Tuberculosis, provided some background on the disease. TB's host was discovered in 1882, but successful treatment wouldn't come until 1986 with short-course chemotherapy. Even with new treatment, the WHO Country Office for India, in a web article viewed on March 16th called "Communicable Disease and Disease Surveillance Tuberculosis," declared TB a global emergency in 1993 and found that treatment was unsuccessful because it was not being completed, causing people to relapse. Then, the researchers made a horrifying discovery: TB had become resistant to the current drugs. India's previously cited WHO website gives some statistics. Annually, almost 2 million people develop TB, and 6% of those die from it. And right now, 10 million TB patients have been treated to date. Since India's victims are usually too poor to afford health care and/or are unable to access health care facilities, many die unnecessarily. Early detection and full treatment, along with improved education and nutrition, will lead to improved immunities, meaning fewer TB cases. If weak immune systems indicate a higher risk for contracting TB, then it should be no surprise that HIV-positive people who have suppressed immune systems are more likely to contract TB. TB symptoms may have a more rapid onset in HIV-positive people, and HIV and TB treatment programs are hindered by HIV. These are associations made by Rob Nobel and Bonita de Boer in another Avert.org webpage, also accessed on March 16th, called Tuberculosis, Treatment and Care. In this article, research found that in TB deaths, 1 in 4 had HIV. Nobel and de Boer go on to state that HIV-positive people are 800 times more likely to contract the disease. To better control each of the diseases, Jorge Sampaio's letter, titled UN Special Envoy to Stop TB, found on the TB Global Leaders Forum, viewed on March 17th, suggests adding TB care and prevention in HIV programs. We have just explored how two deadly diseases, HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis, along with the combination of the two, have hindered India's development as a country. We are no longer as sheltered as we were minutes ago, and by opening our eyes to the surrounding world, we are now better able to engage ourselves in it, whether it be participating in a mission trip or using our new knowledge to solve the problems of India, other countries, and even our own.